Great, grand, glorious greetings. I'm especially sad this morning for Mr. Jeff Burns because he's going to miss seeing all of you, and I know he is like me. If you miss a Toastmasters meeting, the rest of your day is just a little less enthusiastic. But I'm very enthusiastic to be here, excited for this time of year because soon it will be gardening season. And like most gardeners, I love to show off my garden. It's a place where plants, beans of all types, can flourish. They receive the nourishment they need. The garden I'm speaking about this morning is not a magical, not a mythical garden, but rather a metaphorical garden. A garden of Toastmasters new members. And where is this garden? Well, the beauty of it is it surrounds us. We're standing in the midst of the garden at all times. If we think of it in a new perspective, our communities, our workplaces, our families, everyone we come in contact with is like a little plant that we can transplant, take them out of their plots of contentment and bring them to a Toastmasters meeting. Show them our Toastmasters garden, and they too will have a chance to be nourished and flourished. Think about a gardener, if they're going to transplant a bean, for example. First, they have to prepare the seed bed. They have to rake and hoe and get the soil just ready, and then plant that bean. There's a wide variety of beans. And such it is in our Toastmasters membership garden. We're not talking bean plants, we're talking beans, human beings. Now, how do you get a human being to leave their little plot of contentment, venture out and visit our Toastmasters garden? I suggest that you think a little in advance how you're going to approach that individual. Each person you approach, you do it in a slightly different manner. So perhaps at a workplace setting, you're sitting around across the table from a coworker, you're on break or something, and maybe lead a conversation along these lines. Gosh, Jim, what's a typical weekday morning like at your house? Oh gosh, well, they're all about the same. I get up, I watch TV for an hour, have a couple cups of coffee, and then I head off into work. Oh, well, boy, well, I have to tell you, my Thursday mornings, especially the ones when I get to see my buddies at the Toastmaster meetings, they're the most exciting for me. I get up a little early, I go and meet a whole bunch of folks that are encouraging, motivational, inspirational. I leave the meeting feeling energized for the rest of the week. I really hate it when I can't make my Toastmasters meeting. So there you have it. You kind of have, the word Toastmasters is kind of like the hoe. It's going to get the conversation. It's going to start that seed bed. Well, what is a Toastmasters group? Here's a place where you can frequently overwater or put a little weed killer on that tender new transplant you're seeking to invite. You can say things like, well, it's leadership training. And oftentimes I have to do a lot of rehearsals and I present and we do speeches. Right there you've put maybe a little 3 things that are maybe not so exciting to a tender transplant, someone you're about to invite. The word training often conjures up kind of boring, rough scenarios. The word leadership and presentations, a lot of folks are kind of shy about that. But so you minimize those things. You kind of say stuff like, wow, mostly I listen. I hear interesting stories. I meet people from all over. You know, you certainly don't hide the fact that there's leadership training, but you don't bring that to the fore. In many cases, you kind of just say, well, come on and see. I'll buy the coffee. You'll be a distinguished guest. Think about another scenario. Maybe you have a niece or a nephew who has recently graduated from college and Oh, the nephew's working part-time. And you say, hey, Bob, how's it going? I understand you're working part-time. You're trying to get into that engineering field you studied for. Yeah, I am, but I know how's job interviews going? Oh, gosh, I really don't like job interviews. There's a bunch of people asking me questions. I have no idea what they're going to ask me. Sometimes I have to meet a whole new group of people. Every time it's so different. Yeah, gosh. I really wish when I was your age, Bob, that someone would have invited me to see a Toastmasters organization. It will help you throughout your whole entire life. Because even if the job interview is over, the rest of your work days, you're going to be asked questions at all times. You're going to need to have good leadership. And if you're a member of a Toastmasters organization, it's like getting a whole team of coaches, of motivating people that are there. It's a place where you can go and rehearse. It's a place where you'll find ways to just be at ease, to keep ahead of the pack when it comes to career development and life in general. Oh, you're still single, right, Bob? Yeah. Did I mention to you how bright, brilliant, and just beautiful the women of the Toastmasters organizations are? Man, those are women that any young man could want to meet. They're motivated, they're inspired, they're real go-getters. And did you know that the ability to communicate smoothly and lead effectively is highly magnetic attraction for women everywhere? So don't shy away. Come on, I'll buy your coffee. You'll be a distinguished guest. Let's go see a Toastmasters meeting. You can tell me what you think about it. So there you have it, a couple of scenarios in just different ways you can invite people. I know we do electronic, we do print, we do things like Speechcraft, but the power of the personal invite cannot be overstated. Don't be discouraged. You'll have only on average 1 out of 8 individuals will take you up and come and see our garden here at the Toastmasters Club. Don't let that discourage you. There's 12 more weeks left in this Toastmaster year, and that would mean, on average, if you ask just one person once a week, if you purposefully think about who you're going to invite that week, on average, you'd probably have 1 or 2 visitors come between now and the end of the Toastmasters year. And if that were to happen, on average, about 1 out of 3 visitors decide to join. Then they too can be transplanted from their plots of contentment, brought to our Toastmasters garden, and they can be nourished and flourished. Madam Toastmaster.